Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater.
Keelan Cole with his third touchdown.
Defender Josh Norman to his backside.
So I just wanted to say rest in peace to Norm Macdonald, one of my favorite comics of all time since I was a little kid. I try and be funny. I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh. I like to make jokes. I like to try and be creative with topics and words to just kind of lighten things and make it more fun, more funny. And he was a big influence on me, Norm Macdonald. Just his delivery, his just dry wit and sarcasm. He was a very memorable voice and just everything about him. So rest in peace to Norm Macdonald. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Pulp Fantasy. I'm your host, Scott Rinear. You can find me on Twitter at MunderDifflin, FF. And here we are. It's week one. Well, week one's over now. So we're officially into week two. I'm going to start by talking about Urban Meyer, head coach, Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe not for that much longer. There's speculation he might jump ship early and go take the USC job. He's made some questionable decisions ever since taking over and doesn't seem to be very well liked. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars got blown out by the Houston Texans in week one. So you know what I do on this show sometimes. It's been a little while, but I find footage. I find video footage that no one else really has access to. I'm not going to divulge any secrets as to how I get it. But I was able to find some footage. This is kind of a documentary style film the Jaguars were making ever since Urban Meyer took over, just to kind of show what the environment's been like and just in general what it's been like since he became the head coach of the Jaguars. Enjoy.
1, Troy.
Damn it. I'm gonna go as fast as I can so I don't miss anything.
You know who I used to call Miss Anything? Eartha Kitt.
Oh, I don't like
What? He totally set it up.
I'm checking on my pies.
Rasta!
No.
Bathroom?
Yeah, over here.
Jeff, tell us about your father.
I'm gonna get a drink.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Barely felt it.
Let me look at it in the bathroom.
What the hell?
Call 911! Armin! Help me stop the bleeding!
I'm dying. I am dying.
Now I'm going to move on to a new segment. This is my first in-season episode of Pulp Fantasy, so I'm still kind of figuring out what it's going to look like. This first new segment is simply called
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Wrong. I was wrong. Now these are things that I got wrong, probably other people got wrong, but I'm kind of more just focused on things I got wrong, starting with the San Francisco 49ers. So pretty much everything about week one with the San Francisco 49ers, I got wrong. I'm willing to admit it. I don't think I'm alone here. Raheem Mostert started. He was the starting running back. That was expected, and that's what happened. He was due for a big week against a weak Detroit Lions defense, and where I had him, I definitely started him. That wasn't the shocking part. Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch. Their third-round rookie out of Ohio State was a healthy scratch. Caught everybody off guard. You know, a few, I think, lucky and clever people immediately picked up Elijah Mitchell, who was, lower on their depth chart during the preseason. Stashed him just to see what happened with this whole Trey Sermon thing. So Trey Sermon was a healthy scratch, not expected. The other thing was Brandon Ayuk. 0 targets. He was involved in a few special teams plays. That's it. So, and then the rest is history. Raheem Mostert, God bless Raheem Mostert. I feel so bad for the guy, but after 2 carries, he hurt his knee. And the news that broke today is that he's out for the season, which sucks. I mean, there's a lot of jokes made about Raheem Mostert being injury prone and getting hurt all the time, but that just sucks. Dude's an undrafted free agent that's bounced around the league. And, you know, in the last few years when he's been healthy, he's been really good, really fun to watch. So I wish Raheem Mostert a speedy recovery. But he got hurt. Elijah Mitchell was the one that stepped in and, you know, carried the rock 19 times, 100+ yards and a touchdown, and is now the unequivocal week 1 waiver darling. So just some unexpected things that happened in San Francisco. Who's going to be the running back next week, week 2? I mean, all thoughts are it'll be Elijah Mitchell, 19 carries, week 1. Waiver wire darling, you know, most likely this week. But what if it's Jermichael Hasty? What if it's Trey Sermon? What if it's somebody we don't even know is on the team yet?
And where the hell was I?
So I'm going to debut this brand new segment I like to call Premature Evaluation.
Just so you know, it's not that common. It doesn't happen to every guy, and it is a big deal.
I knew it!
Overreacting to week 1. That's ultimately what this segment is. I just wanted to make it funny. First one's Kyle Pitts. I have been very, very pro Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts hype train all the way. I didn't expect him to set the world on fire in his first game as a rookie, which he certainly did not. You know, it wasn't a goose egg, but it wasn't this 10 catches for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns that apparently needed to happen for some people, or else he's a bust. But anyway, the whole Atlanta offense was just in the tank all day. Speaking of that, I got some behind the scenes footage of one of their huddles. There you go.
Some of us are leaving, and that is sad. But this isn't the end. No way. We're going to show this world a thing or two. We're going to show.
Jury's still out. Could Pitts not live up to the hype? Obviously, his hype is higher than pretty much any player or any tight end I've ever seen. But I still think it's a little too early. Another person it's a little too early for, in my opinion, Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones, again, the entire Packers offense struggled all day long, and I'm not expecting that to be the norm for Aaron Jones. He killed a couple of my teams because I'm super high on him. He's my RB1 on like 4 or 5 different teams. So calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Another one to not panic on, at least yet, in my opinion, is Trey Sermon. I know he was a healthy scratch. We don't know why, but I'm obviously not going to be starting him in week 2, but please don't just rage drop Trey Sermon. Please don't trade him for pennies on the dollar yet. This is the absolute wrong time to do any of that. That's kind of more of an emotional reaction to what happened. So stay the course, keep him on your team. Don't start him until we know more. Real quick, before I let you go, one little piece of waiver advice. This is coming out Wednesday. Your waivers may have already run. If they run later in the week, here you go. If not, I have no control over the time, but I wrote all this stuff down, so I'm going to say it. Elijah Mitchell, breakout running back for the 49ers. I've talked about him. Likely going to be the number 1 pickup, number 1 waiver ad, but he's going to be expensive. There's going to be people blowing a lot of fab budget on Elijah Mitchell. And for me, that price is just a little too high. That backfield's just not reliable. I don't want to blow a bunch of fab after week 1 on a guy when, for all we know, carry on my wayward son Johnson will be the starting running back next week. No idea what Shanahan's going to do. I've got my eyes set on somebody with a little less hype. Philadelphia Eagles running back Kenneth Gainwell. Also had a good game. Was outtouched by Miles Sanders, but not by much. Looked really good. And he's the running back that kept Antonio Gibson off the field when they were both at Memphis. So I'm spending far less fab on Kenneth Gainwell. Potentially, if you're in a shallower league, he might not even get claimed. Then you get him for free. So there's a little bit of waiver advice. So that's the episode. A little bit more packed with information than my typical shenanigans during the off season. I'm going to kind of play around with it. I'd like to be able to, make you laugh, do some goofy stuff with my typical TV and movie clips and montages and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to provide some useful information. So I'm going to really work on combining those two things, much like is done at In Between Media. So it will be a work in progress. So until next time, good luck in week 2 and have a great one.
I no longer love him. As much as it pains me to say, when I look in his eyes, all I see is the same cowardice that I catch when I take a glimpse of my own face in the mirror. If only the cowardice was stronger, then perhaps I could bring myself to reach over to that cocked and loaded gun that lays on the bedside behind me. And in this hellish facade, he says, "Doc, sometimes I feel like a spider, even though I'm a moth, just barely hanging on to my web with an everlasting fire underneath me. I'm not feeling good." And so the doctor says, "Moth, man, you're troubled. But you should be seeing a psychiatrist. Why on earth did you come here?" And then the moth said, "Because the light was on."